Hi viewers, the watch featured today will be from Orient, and it is from their more prestigious Orient Star collection. And this one really is a fabulous looking watch. So let's get started and have a look right now. They Orient have really upped their game with their boxes actually. Much more improved than their previous meek and mild effort. This is quite a solid box, very well made, nice leatherette feel to the outside. So here it is. This is the Orient Star, and on their website Orient call this the mechanical contemporary watch. Now before I go over the specs, I just quickly want to mention something about this watch. If you are a fan of the Grand Seiko range, especially the Snowflake, but you don't have a budget in the thousands of pounds, this really, in my opinion, is the perfect answer for you. This really does have the feel of a Grand Seiko watch. The looks, the finishing, you know, it's not bad at all. Okay, it's not the same as Grand Seiko, but for the retail price of this is around about $800, but you can find these on the grey market for well under $400, usually around about $350, which is an absolute steal. They're a very well made watch. You've got in-house movement, and the design really is magnificent, and it does scratch that Grand Seiko itch if that's what you're after. So let's quickly go over the specs on this watch. Now the size of this is perfect. The case diameter is just 38.5 millimeters. The thickness is 12 millimeters. The lug width is 22 millimeters, and the lug to lug is 49 millimeters. This is a really well proportioned watch. At just under 39 millimeters, I think it's the perfect case size for a watch like this. And being an Orient Star, the finishing is fantastic. Just look at this detail here on the lugs. You've got the lovely polished edge there, and then on the sides you've got brush polishing. Very well done. The crown is signed. The shape of the lugs is beautiful, it really is. So you have that really lovely contrast of highly polished and brushed, which looks great on a watch like this. The bracelet is very decent. It's not the best bracelet in the world, but again, for the price, it's absolutely fine. It has a combination of brushed and polished as well. So the central links down the middle are brushed. The outer links are brushed, but then inside of those outer links you've got those polished sections as well. Really good, and the sides are polished. They are push pins, but that's fine. Nice milled clasp, signed on the buckle there, and yeah, much better than their standard watches. The Orient Star do have better bracelets. Now I'll just go on to that gorgeous dial. As you can see, it has a white dial. They do come in black, and there's also a grey silvery dial and a blue one, I think. Now you can see the indices are all applied, really nicely finished indices there. You've got those faceted edges to them. Now there is a Roman numeral at the 12 o'clock and 6 position, which I'm not usually a big fan of Roman numerals, but it's only on the 12 and 6, so it's not a big deal at all. It looks quite nice. And as you can see there, under the 12 o'clock you've got the power reserve indicator, so as you wind it or shake it, you'll see the indicator going up, which is quite a useful feature really, because you know when you're going to run out of power, and give it a little tweak again. So that's great. The hands set, nicely polished edge to them. They are filled with lume as well. And then the second hand and the power reserve indicator hand are finished in that metallic blue. Got a date window with a nice frame around it, and the logo is very crisply printed there at 6 o'clock. And being an Orient watch, they have their own in-house movement, and this is the F6N43 movement. Very accurate, very reliable, and it does have a 50-hour power reserve. And also, again, being from the Orient Star collection, you have an upgraded anti-reflective sapphire glass, really excellent, and it also has a water resistance of 100 meters. Now the crown, it is not a screw down crown unfortunately, it's just a push pull, but that's kind of normal for a dress watch. But a nice pop to it, very silky smooth. Nice slick date change as well. And on the back you have the exhibition case back, so you can see the movement. Now these Orient Star movements are decorated, so it does have a more appealing look to it. Very nicely done. I honestly can't think of any other watch for that kind of price, around about $350, that could match this. It oozes class and quality. It really does have that, as I said before, that kind of Grand Seiko feel about it. The Seiko Press Art, I suppose, are the closest competition, but they're not as well finished as this, and in my opinion they don't look as handsome as this watch either. The overall fit and finish really is quite incredible at this price point. It's so impressive, it really is. Just look at that. It's a fantastic watch, and I personally think the white dial is the one to go for. Really does look very classy. Okay, I'm going to put that on the wrist and show you how that looks. That really looks awesome. I haven't had a chance to size it yet. This is a brand new watch, but you get the idea. It sits on the wrist really well. You've got those curved lugs going down. The perfect size, 39mm almost. Very comfortable. Lovely bracelet actually. And those beautiful markers really do catch the light very well. I think that's a very expensive looking watch. I've certainly seen watches over £1,000 that don't even look as good as that. Stunning. Right, well, as I mentioned, there is some lume on this dial on the hands and the outside of the markers, so we'll just have a look at that now, see how that looks in the dark. Yeah, as usual with the Orient, it's a very decent lume, bright, and that will last a long time. Nice to see this kind of lume on a dress watch, don't often get that. Usually dress watches have very weak lume, especially in this price bracket. That is very decent. Okay, that's just about it. Before I wrap up, I'll just zoom in on the beautiful, stunning looking dial. Just get a better idea of that marvellous craftsmanship on it. Wow, that really is spectacular looking. It's so well finished. The markers really look flawless to me. You can see even with the power reserve indicator, they've gone to town on the finishing of that as well. It has a slight texture to it. It's really nicely applied, and that blue hand just sets off the dial perfectly. Just a little touch of colour. And there you can see with the markers as well, you've got a lot of attention to detail there. See there on the sloping parts of the markers, that's all nicely polished, and then the top flat parts are brushed, giving that contrast and extra depth. Really looks beautiful. And the handset, look at that. Again, brushed on the flat part and then polished on those chamfered edges. Very, very nice. Just have a look at the side of the case. See the polishing there, really wonderful. Look at the lugs. Stunning. That really is a good fit and finish. And as you can see, the crown has been signed as well. It's nicely done. Okay, well that is it. That is the Orient Star, the Power Reserve contemporary watch. I do hope you enjoyed looking at this, and I think you'll agree it is a really smart, handsome looking watch from Orient, and if you're in the market for something along the lines of the Grand Seiko, then this is the perfect option if your budget is not in the thousands of pounds. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time.